Storm's coming.
Storm's coming.
There's a fucking storm coming, Dad!
Storm's coming. Storm's coming. Storm's coming.
Boom. And we're back for another episode of the Mental Fight Podcast. And you know, I love this podcast. We get to talk about everything fighting, everything mindset. But today we get a 2-for-1 special. You know, I always love that phrase. You know, we fight together, we stay together. This time we're going to get a chance to hear from a lovely couple of Houston, Jacob and Madison. Thanks for joining me today.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Hi, you two. I mean, I get to see you guys on separate occasions, you know, all the time, but it's great being able to talk to both of you guys at the same time. How are you?
Good. Doing good. We just got back from a reptile expo, so we just bought a bunch of new pets, and we're excited.
Okay. Reptile. What kind of pets did you get? Or you said you got?
Yeah, I got a. So they also have spiders and bugs, all sorts of stuff at reptile expos. So I got a spiny flower mantis, little mantis, as well as a jumping spider, and we got a pink corn snake, and then he also got
I got a tarantula. Another tarantula.
Another one. Yeah.
Okay. So, you know, I would hear that we would maybe get a puppy, but instead you guys are getting all of the the insects and things. Oh.
Yeah. We appreciate like pets that are kind of scary to some people.
Okay. You know, I mean, the sport that we're involved in is pretty scary to most people too.
Yeah.
So you say that, like, as far as your interests, what else are you guys interested in? I know I see from like Instagram, you guys go to some cool places outside of fighting. What are some other interests that you might have?
Well, we're both nerds. I'm a massive nerd. So I love like dinosaurs and insects and math and science, and I like music. Music is another big hobby of mine outside of fighting. And then the rest of my time is spent at the gym, it seems like.
I also, yes, I'm a nerd. I like bugs too. I like fossils and stuff. We like going fossil hunting. We've started picking up that hobby. I really like cooking and baking. I love like taking raw ingredients and making something really delicious.
She makes really good food.
He hypes me up. I like doing activities. I'm a person that is super spontaneous and likes to do new things and try new things. So I like going to dance classes here and there, or going rock climbing, or take the skateboards out to the skate park, play tennis. Like, we always just want to do something that's out of the house and not on our phones.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like just adventure, like right, and exploration. Yeah, and I mean, Jacob, come on, you gotta tell people that you also are interested in like growing a really good mustache.
Yes, today I present you with a more relaxed feel than I usually do. Usually it's a little bit tighter, and I decided to let it flow. But always have to have the mustache going.
Yeah. Awesome. Like you and Crew Bob, that I've never seen mustache maintenance the way that I've seen it since. Sorry, what did you say?
I said it's a process, especially whenever he gets it really waxed up. Like, it's got its own steps, its own procedure for it.
Yeah.
Gosh. Well, you know, Jacob, you mentioned earlier like science, and that's one thing I learned about you a little while ago. It's just like your education. Tell me a little about your education. Then, how did you go from that to fighting?
Yeah, so I was homeschooled up until I went to college, and then I went to college at 16, and I have 3 degrees. I have an Associate's of Science in Mechanical Engineering. I have a Bachelor's of Business in Management, and I have a Master's of Business as well. I use none of those degrees. I actually started training and fighting around the same time I started going to school. And I started just because at the time I was rodeoing and team roping, which cost way more money than I had access to and resources. And I wanted to do something different, and I wanted to get in better shape. I was kind of like pudgy and out of shape at the time, and like wanted something to get me in better shape, a little healthier. And I did Taekwondo when I was a kid, like 7 years old. And I thought martial arts would be a good, idea. Let's do martial arts. Give me something to do, something new. It just happened that there was a small MMA gym about half mile from where I lived, and I showed up and for the first day, just really, really enjoyed training and learning. Never thought I was going to compete. I was terrified of getting hit and fighting. I've never been in a fight. I've never been in an unsanctioned fight ever in my entire life. Never been in a physical altercation in the street, nothing like that. But I started just training, and then within a few months, I went and saw a guy who trained at that same gym, go fight, and so I want to try it. Then I did a smoker, and then from then on, it's just kind of over time, it's kind of become all I do now.
Okay, so I'm just still mind blown by how much education you have, and then we're here fighting, right? So I mean, I guess that just shows a lot about like what holds your heart, like what, because typically that's what we do, right? We do the thing that we care most about.
I think the big thing for me is, my dad, both our parents kind of have their own little small business growing up, and my dad started his business when I was probably 10, maybe. I've always kind of had jobs where I had a little bit of freedom, as far as not freedom as like total freedom, but I was never been a clock in 9 to 5 kind of work setting person. I grew up, I was helping my dad with his business, which was pest control stuff. So I was spraying houses and driving around town doing that, or I was in hay fields or, mowing yards, things along that nature that gave me some flexibility. And so I really have always valued that. And just through going to school and stuff like that and wanting to pursue fighting, I kind of was able to find myself in a position where I could fight and pursue it because I enjoyed it and everything. And it also allows me to do it to support myself financially as well. At this point, working at the gym, teaching classes and stuff like that. And so that's kind of how I ended up where I'm at with that.
Okay, is able to serve all of those purposes now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Madison? How did you get into fighting? Where did you start, and where are you at now?
Yeah. So I've always been really into wrestling around with my brothers, and my brother and my cousins. We all would get in the trampoline and have like wrestling tournaments. And they're always like, "You need to wrestle. You're really strong. You should totally wrestle." And my freshman year of high school, I didn't really have enough credits to do it. And I just kind of was still on the fence about it. I didn't know about putting on a singlet and rolling around on the ground with girls. It didn't seem like quite my style. So I kind of held off on it for like a year. And then sophomore year came around, and I had told a teacher I was interested about it. And we had been getting a new wrestling coach at the gym, or at the high school. And so that teacher went and told the wrestling coach that I was interested, and he pulled me out of class one day and was like, "Hey, just sign up for wrestling. Just put it on your schedule. And if you don't like it, we'll take you off. Like, just come try it. But I have to have you on the schedule for you to do summer practice." And I was like, "Oh man, he's roping me into it." So freshman year going into sophomore year, I signed up for wrestling. Showed up, and it was honestly so cool. After the first day, I went home and I was telling my parents about like all the stuff I learned and how cool it was. I could pick somebody up off the ground, and like I just thought it was the coolest thing. So I wrestled for 3 years in high school, sophomore year to senior year. I actually was signed with Wayland Baptist University. I had plans to go wrestle in college, and then senior year was my first season of freestyle wrestling that I'd ever done. I talked my dad into letting me do freestyle wrestling because I had to go to college to do freestyle wrestling. So I needed to try it. And I went to Fargo. I did the training camp for that. It was a 9-day training camp that included travel by bus to Fargo, North Dakota. And it was a trip. And I told myself, I was like, if I don't All-American at this, I can't go to college and be thousands of dollars in debt to wrestle if I can't All-American at Fargo. So I lost in the blood round at Fargo. And I was like, well, that's a sign. We're done. I'm packing it up. I'm not doing this anymore. I called my coach 2 weeks before school started at Wayland Baptist and told him, I'm sorry, I can't show up anymore. Like I really, it was going to be like $90,000 in debt I was going to be in after 4 years just to wrestle. it just didn't make sense to me. So I quit wrestling. I went to Sam Houston State, where my college was paid for by my dad's Air Force time. So I only paid like $500 a semester to go to college. So much more worth it than $13,000 out of pocket.
Yeah.
But I was distraught. Like, I was so sad. I thought that like I had thrown away this thing that I was really good at, that I really loved. And I didn't think that there was really much of an avenue for me after that. I was like, man, that's it. I wrestled those 3 years, and that was really cool in a time of my life. And like, now what? Like, I don't have anything to show for it. And a couple of people that I knew were like, you should start doing jujitsu. Like, you should totally start rolling. So I 2018, once I graduated from high school, I started training at Gracie Baja West Chase under Opiano. Did jiu-jitsu there for about a year and a half. And then I moved up to Huntsville for college. And they didn't have any jiu-jitsu at all. And they had boxing, like a Hit City Boxing was the name of the gym. It's like since closed down, I believe. But I started boxing at this kind of rinky-dink boxing gym that was kind of just like show up and do things on your own time. And we've got a class at the end of the day, and we've got sparring and no females. So you spar with men. And I was like, you know what? This is cool. I'm really enjoying, learning stuff. I'm enjoying hitting the bag. I'm going to get some headgear, and I'm going to start sparring because I think this would be really cool. I remember my first day of sparring. I was like, I think I made a mistake. I don't think I want to do this, actually. Getting hit in the face is takes some getting used to. But once I got used to sparring and boxing, I was like, man, it would be really cool to punch a chick on the ground. Like, it would be really cool to just be able to like hammer fist a chick, though I didn't know what a hammer fist was at the time. So I was like looking into MMA, and I realized that my only option to do MMA was to move back to Houston. Like, there's no MMA in Huntsville. My dad was like, no, stay in Huntsville, go to college, focus on college. You don't need to be fighting. I was like, well, I'm an adult now, so I'm gonna move back to Houston if I want to. So I moved back to Houston, and that was kind of a struggle, but worth it. One of the best decisions in my life, because I've been doing MMA now for 4 years at War Training Center. I found an instant home in those people. It's definitely people that were very like-minded and very welcoming, and also just some dogs. Like, they're very wrestling based at War, so I felt like it really fit with my style. And I've just been doing MMA with them ever since.
Okay, so yet another story where we had some paths going one way, but yet it's just something about fighting. It was like, hey, no, come over here, and here we are. We got to follow it.
Right. My original life plan before I ever started wrestling was I was going to go. I was in ROTC all 4 years of high school. I was going to go in the Air Force. I wanted to be like, in the Officer of Special Investigations in the Air Force. I had this whole life plan, and then I started wrestling, and I was like, wait, there's like actually like way more fun things you can do than like sign your life away to the military. Let's explore these options.
Okay, and we have that in common. I too was in JROTC in high school all 4 years, and they recruited me hard, and I was like, yeah, I don't think I want to.
They want you to join, and it's tempting. It really is. It's a cool thing to do, and in the Air Force especially, I find really interesting, but I just don't think it's for me.
Nevertheless, well, I'm so glad that like just sitting here, kind of getting the chance to just talk to both of you and hearing your stories on how you got to where you are. I connect with it in many ways. In this next round, I want to lock in and kind of get more into some of the things that maybe you've personally have gained from fighting, and also within each other as a couple. So next round, we're gonna lock in. Round two, let's lock in. So, we have to forge our own paths, because at the end of the day, it's about what makes us happy. Tell me a little bit about just what fighting has given you personally. What have you gained as a person within this sport?
For me, honestly, like the biggest thing it's given me was confidence.
Mm-hmm.
When I was, 15, 16, 17, like no confidence in myself, like sad, like I just wasn't, it was not a good spot. And for over the years, as I've done it, very quickly gave me way more confidence in myself, and not for the purpose of like, oh, I can defend myself now and I feel safer, but just in the sense of like, I realized I wasn't fragile and made of glass. I was kind of raised to be kind of a pansy as a kid. Like if anything ever happened, my mom was, you come get me right away. Like there was never like, I wasn't allowed to fight my brother really. Like I was just kind of raised to be kind of soft, and it wasn't really who I was as a person. But I felt kind of trapped in that. And fighting kind of taught me that like I wasn't made of glass. I was pretty tough. And that alone gave me a whole lot of confidence growing up, and really kind of shaped who I've become now versus who I was, 10 years ago.
Yeah. You're really solid, and your leg kicks are very solid as well. You're not made of glass, not at all. And it's so interesting. So mom wouldn't let you fight with your brothers. Meanwhile, Madison's over here wrestling with hers.
Right.
Yeah. My parents to this day, they hate fighting. I fought for years kind of under the radar because when I was going to college to get my undergrad, I was living at home because, saving money. And I fought, I can't remember if it was before or after I had that MMA fight that I lost. My first fight I had that I lost as an amateur. But I was basically threatened to be thrown out of the house with nothing but the shirt on my back if I fought again. And so what I did was at the gym, we would travel to Iowa in different states to compete at these big Muay Thai tournaments. And I would go just kind of as a teammate and to help and get people warmed up and hold pads and stuff, but didn't compete. I just started fighting. And so I just traveled and fought without them knowing for years until I eventually graduated college and was like, deuces, I'm out, and moved to Houston.
Okay. So made it nevertheless. Well, where are both of your parents now? Are they more accepting, or are they still kind of on the fence?
They are accepting. They don't like it at all, but they don't give me a hard time about it. Like my in their defense, right? Their biggest concern was they just wanted me to grow up and like be a responsible adult that could like be a productive member of society and take care of myself. And I think in their eyes that there was no way that this pursuit of mine was going to be conducive to that. Right. And I think now that I'm older and they see that, like, I've left home and moved to Houston, I've been fine on my own. Like I'm settled and everything's, I'm doing the thing. They're kind of like, he's okay, And so we don't really talk about it just because they don't have any interest in it. But my mom is always, right after I fight, is texting her, making sure I'm still alive.
And texts me before the fight and asks me to keep her updated and let her know that he's still alive after the fight. Yeah.
And I think she goes back after the fact and watches him some now.
When she knows he's okay.
Yeah. But so they're cool with it. Like everything's kosher,
Yeah. They just care.
High school didn't like it.
Yeah, of course. They just care. They just care, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Great. Well, what about you, Madison? What have you gotten from fighting, and as far as just like mindset or how it's benefited you or added to your life?
Yeah, I mean, like anybody, I think fighting's given me a lot of confidence. I think it gives anybody confidence. Confidence not only just in yourself that you can, protect yourself or whatever, as if you ever protect yourself in real life. But it's giving me the confidence more to like be the person that I am and just, walk my chest out and my chin up. I went into wrestling as a high school sophomore. My head was blown up from my brother and my cousins that I was a strong girl. And so I was like, I'm going to start wrestling and throwing these chicks around. And then I started wrestling and started getting pinned over and over and over again. And I was like, okay, there are people that walk amongst us that I need to be afraid of. I'm not as cool and strong and tough as I thought I was. So it also humbled me for sure. Cause I I started wrestling thinking like, I'm going to blow these chicks out of the park. Like, this is going to be easy. And then I started getting like beat up by chicks who'd been wrestling since they were like 6 or 8 years old. And I was like, okay, there's levels for sure. I need to figure them out. So it humbled me as a person in the sense that like, I realized that there's some big scary people out there and I want to be one of them. And it gave me the confidence to, once I started, you know, learning my way around things and just kind of learned who my people were, and that like I did have a community of like-minded people in wrestling and in combat sports. It's given me a lot of confidence to just be myself. And you know, obviously we're never getting in street fights. We're not fighting people, but like, wish a bitch would, you know, I can walk knowing that like I'm not afraid of any female for sure. And most males that are my size are smaller, like they're really not a threat to me. So that's cool too. I feel safer as a female being able to walk around and do things and conduct my daily life. So yeah. I feel like wrestling and combat sports gives everybody like confidence. It's just like to what degree and like what kind of confidence it gives you.
Yeah. You're definitely adding tools to your tool belt, and not like we actually want to have to use them, but just knowing that you feel like you know that you can protect yourself and do that for yourself. It gives you a sense of empowerment, right? And I really like that piece about just what you're saying of being able to like walk with your head up and with your chin up, because when we tap into like our strengths and when we recognize them, that we have them, it really reminds us of the value that we have as a person. And that's something that is intangible, and it's something that as long as you keep sharpening it and working on it, you're always going to have it. And this sport definitely, I feel like, I don't know who has not been humbled, but it just only shows that, you know, maybe you thought that your ceiling was here, but now it is all the way up there now. So, which is great, because now we can actually continue to work on ourselves, grow and improve regularly, daily, because really the learning never stops. And I mean, I think it'll get kind of boring if you feel like you were just already the best and there was nothing else on, you know?
Right.
Yeah. So, individually, it sounds like you both have positive things that you've gotten from fighting. How has being together enriched this journey? I'm curious if you would share.
It's awesome, honestly. I mean, we go Sunday open mats are like a regular occurrence for us. We like to go to Hinzo Gracie or you know, finesse jiu-jitsu or any other mats that are open around the time that we roll out of bed. We like to go get some rolls together, and you know, we both really enjoy the sport for the sport. So we enjoy learning and trying new things. So we have a lot of fun in our rolls. I'm always trying to take him down. He's always trying to take me down. We're both, people kind of laugh at us sometimes when they watch us rolling, especially at Hinzo's, because I'm like screaming mother's milk, and like we're like, you know, muffling each other and just doing like,
she's mean.
She's nice. I'm a sweetheart, but I like to have a good time. And sometimes it's more fun when you do just terribly rude things to each other when you're rolling. So we have fun rolls. Now when it comes to sparring, that's when he gets me back, and he's mean, because those leg kicks, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Those leg kicks are brutal.
It's been really great because and everyone's, you know, everyone's miles will vary, you know, like not every couple who are both fighters it works out as harmoniously as it does for us, but like we both understand what we go through. Like when I'm in camp and I'm grouchy in camp, she told me about this the other night. Like she understands, like I'm tired, I can't go do certain things, I gotta go, I can't hang out right now, I need to go to the gym and go run. When I'm cutting weight, you know, she drives me to weigh-ins, she helps me cut weight, stuff like that. She also, like, she understands the struggles of it, also understands like the joys of winning and how much it sucks to lose and stuff like that. So it's really nice having that kind of common understanding of what goes on in the whole thing.
Yeah, I think it's really cool that we both fight, so we both have the fighter schedule, which is a real short schedule. You know, obviously you got to work a full or part-time job. I have a full-time job. He coaches, he's working every day. We both get done with our days around 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. And so weekdays, 9 p.m. on, 9 to 11:30 when we finally go to bed is the time that we get to spend together. And then we have the weekends, and we hang out on the weekends. Saturdays, Sundays are free days, and that's when we plan cool stuff. But like for a lot of people and for a lot of relationships, I just wouldn't cut it. Like it wouldn't work if you can only see someone for at 9 o'clock at night every weekday, and then just sometimes on the weekends they're kind of busy with coaching fights, or they have to be here for our schedules are super crazy and strained. And it's not that we don't get enough time together at all, but a lot of people wouldn't see that as enough time. So it's cool that we both have similar schedules and can understand, like, you gotta do what you gotta do. We gotta train till 8:30, 9 o'clock at night, and then get home, eat, shower, and get to bed because we gotta get up early in the morning for training. So it's cool to have that similar understanding that our schedules are just gonna have to be this way.
It's also cool because she fights. Like if I've got to be at a Fury event or something like that for all of Sunday, because I've got a corner fight or something like that, or I have teammates fighting, she'll come and she'll watch fights. A lot of them, she'll have friends that are fighting as well.
Yeah.
So we're, even though like I'm busy doing something and she's hanging out with her friends, like we're still kind of in the same vicinity,
So yeah, the mutual like hobbies, mutual understanding, and really helps to be able to make the relationship work. I mean, I know it also as well. It's difficult maybe dating someone who doesn't understand the lifestyle, and so it is so beneficial to have someone who understands the mindset and each part and phase of like a fight camp and in and out of training camps too. So such a big gem to have within a relationship. So this next round, we're going to get into it. The last of it, this is it. You two shared some quotes with me that I would love to hear where it came from and what it means for you. All right, round 3. This is it. I really appreciate the quotes that you shared with me. Jacob, I really wanted to kind of get into the one that you shared. Fate is the weight of circumstances. Tell me a little bit about that quote. What does that mean to you?
That is a quote from a song by the greatest band of all time, the Canadian rock band Rush. It's a quote. It's a line from a song called "Roll the Bones," and basically the whole song is about, people talk about fate and things happen for a reason, and this is destiny or this or that, and the whole song is basically about that isn't really how it goes. I kind of described it this kind of thinking of like things just happen. Like life kind of happens, things happen. And so because of that, you might as well do what you want to do, how you want to do it, when you want to do it, because you can do anything and it may or may not work out for you. You may happen into this, you may happen into that, depending on what choices you make. So the saying, like, fate is just the weight of circumstances is kind of like a way of saying, like, whatever happens to you in your life and how things go and how your life goes has to do with where you're starting from and what chances and risks you take along the path. And even then, sometimes things just happen certain ways, for good or for worse. And so the only thing you can really control is how you react to that and how you go about that, going forward. But just about accepting like things just happen because they happen sometimes. We're here. And so like just enjoy whatever time you have, and whatever happens, enjoy it the best you can, because it's all you have, Yeah.
It's like we try to label everything for a reason for why it happens, because we're wanting to constantly seek to know everything, but there is just the element of things just happen, like you said, because.
Yeah. And so might as well just take it the best you can and make the best choices you can and take risks while you can,
Yeah. I mean, for, no risk, no reward, right?
Yeah.
And no one's written a book on life of follow these rules and this is how you're going to get everything that you want, how it's supposed to be, So that doesn't exist. And at some point, we're going to have to play the game. Well, you don't have to play the game, but, if you want the things that you want, you might have to do a little gambling here and there.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how I love some philosophy. Think of each single day as a single life, Seneca. Tell me about that,
That's a
Madison.
great quote. I heard that quote, and I feel like that quote really represents how I try to live my day every day. How I would try to live my life every day. I wake up every day and try to get every minute out of the day something useful or something new or exciting or learning or spending time with family or friends or whatever it may be. Like, I am not the person to come home and sit on the couch on my phone for 6 to 8 hours or take a 3-hour nap in the middle of the day. One, because I have a full-time job, but two, because it's a waste of time. I can't play video games for more than an hour, or I start feeling like I'm wasting my life away. I can't watch TV for more than a couple hours, or I need to get up. And he's the same way. And so it really is a great aspect of our relationship, is that we want to get up and do something every day. We can't stay at home. Today we were at a reptile expo. Yesterday we were going out to Cidercade and playing, arcade games. Like, we always want to be doing something. So I try to kind of follow that philosophy of live each day as a single life, because when you do that, you get so much more out of your day, and you get so many more experiences out of the day that you really value. And also, life is so short. I mean, we could die today. So knowing that you've lived every single day to the absolute length and width of it is really comforting, knowing that if my life ended today, I feel like I've done everything I really wanted to do as much as I could.
Yeah. I mean, truly living a full life, right? I think there is another quote about just wasted hours of days and things like that. It comes down to exactly what you said, right? It's what you value, what's important to you. But you're right. I think sometimes we don't have enough conversations. Sometimes people kind of shield away from the top conversations of death. But the reality of it is that each day and each moment isn't guaranteed to us. So what are we going to do with it? Are we going to find gratitude in it and live it and embrace it, or are we going to spend it occupying our minds in the past or in the future and then not actually being present?
Right.
So it just gives us something to think about, just a big way, that a small thing, but that's really big, a big way to actually live, or a philosophy to live life through.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. Such both of those quotes are very makes you think about just how you live your life, right?
Mm-hmm.
And both of you have chosen the path and doing the thing that exactly what you want to do. And seems like there's happiness that you're experiencing on the regular, yeah?
For sure.
I'm only projecting, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say, yeah, maybe so, but yes. All right. Well, I am so happy that we got a chance to just catch up and talk to the both of you together and hear both of your stories. Is there any gratitude or shout outs that you like to push out there to anyone who might be listening that you like to share?
Yeah, this is going to be kind of corny, but I actually want to give a gratitude to this lady here, because we're on the topic of mental health and stuff like that, and relationships and everything. Like I said, everyone has different experiences when it comes to relationships and all. But she's been we just did 2 years we've been dating?
Yep. 2-year anniversary was on the 5th.
Has been such a great influence on me, as far as she's just happy and bubbly all the time. She makes me happy and bubbly. It's nice to come home and home is peaceful. I don't get yelled at for anything. She makes great food. There's just a lot of positives. So if I was gonna give a gratitude out in this circumstance, it'd be her for sure.
Well, now I have to give one to Jacob. No, I'm just kidding. No, real talk. Obviously, Jacob's a big pivotal part of my life. So I appreciate that he is like a strong force that is not going to be moved in my life. I know I'm going to come home. I'm going to have Jacob. I know I'm going to have his support. I know I'm going to have his company. I know that everything's going to be cool as long as I get home tonight to Jacob. So I really appreciate Jacob. I also I've been thinking about this recently. My 10-year anniversary of martial arts is going to be in August. So I started wrestling in August of 2015. So August 2025 will be 10 whole years of grappling. And I don't think about it enough, but I'm so thankful to my very first wrestling coach that pulled me out of a high school English class to talk to me about wrestling and tried to, he really was the one that, obviously my brother and my cousins were pushing me and telling me I should do it, but he's really the one that changed my mind and made me say, okay, fine, I'll sign up and I'll do it. And without Coach Potter, shout out Coach Chris Potter. I think he's coaching at a private school in Houston now, but he really changed my life. I can't even imagine where I would be today if it weren't for Coach Potter coming into class that day and telling me I need to wrestle. I think I would be doing something that I'm not really happy with. I think I would be, not living up to my full potential. I would probably be not as healthy as I am, not as interesting of a person as I am. My life would be so different. And I feel like my life would be almost opposite of what it is now. So definitely I want to give out some gratitude to Coach Potter for really changing my life, honestly.
Yeah. Shout out to people who just open up opportunities for us, and then our lives are forever changed from those moments, right?
Right.
Yes. Well, for everyone who's listening, I hope that you guys had received some gems from that, and that if you would like to continue to follow Jacob and Madison's journey, Jacob and Madison, will you let them know where they might be able to find you?
So my Instagram is JBobBerry, JAYBOBBERRY. And that's really the best place to see what I'm doing, what I'm up to, and get in touch with me is there.
You can check me out on Instagram at skeevy.kid, SKEEVY.kid, because I'm forever a kid. Don't even ask about the name. Just follow me.
Just follow. And, if you liked something that you heard that was great in this episode, go ahead and comment, send a like, and as always, share it to someone else who needs to hear it, and tune in again for the next one.